Okay, let's talk about the handstand. So many of you might have ended up on this video because you went to the freestanding handstand video or you went to the kick-up video and you got referred back to this because I specifically said that you have to make sure that you unlock a 30-second chest to wall handstand before you even try anything else. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why that is, the two most important aspects behind handstands, and the secret to you for getting your first handstand. So, let's talk about a handstand in general and what the two active ingredients are: strength and skill. What I see a lot is people come into a Cali class, they look around and everyone's kicking up into a beautiful handstand. They go, I can do that. And so they fling themselves against the wall, they get into bad habits, and they do make progress, but they never actually get to that point of doing that freestanding handstand, which they've been dreaming of, and one of the main reasons why they got into it in the first place. The main reason why you're plateauing at that point is because you haven't gained the necessary strength to be able to pass on from there. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today: the chest to wall handstand, the requirements that you need to get to the next level, and then go from there. But let's go right back to basics with handstands. So it's pretty obvious. A handstand is when your arms are above your head, your body's in a nice straight line, and you're balancing yourself on your hands. When you look at the human body, the hips are the shoulders, the knees are the elbows, and the feet are the hands. It's literally just like the opposite, right? And when you're standing up, you want to make sure you're locking out your legs because it's nice and easy, and if I bend my legs like this, it's a whole lot harder to hold. So when we're doing a handstand, you want to make sure that you're stacking your joints. You want your hands to be, you want your elbows to be over your hands, your shoulders to be over your elbows, your hips over your shoulders, feet in line. And what that requires is a lot of shoulder mobility. When we are at our desks, we're going through our life, we tend to be sitting down like this. Our shoulders are down. And what happens is our shoulders start to round forward, the range in our thoracic spine goes, and so we actually find it really hard to get our hands over our head without arching the lower back. Now, let's talk about that really quickly before we get onto the whole strength aspect. If you look at me here from a side-on angle, for me to get my hands over my head, there's two ways of doing it. Number one, I either have to arch my back to get my hands overhead, right? But that results in a banana handstand, and we don't really want that because you're not going to be able to progress to more advanced skills like a straight handstand, a one-arm handstand, the press, etc. What you need to do is elevate your shoulders, keep your core engaged, tailbone underneath, and now when you're going overhead, you're pushing your shoulders up high to get that range. The reason why you push your shoulders up is because your shoulders only have about 120 degrees of range. What you actually need to do is you need to unlock your scapula by bringing your shoulders up to your ears, and that actually means that you can get more range of motion from your shoulders. And this is exactly why we have to learn the chest to wall handstand first, because it teaches you proper alignment of what it feels like to have your hips stacked over your shoulders, over your elbows, over your hands. It teaches you to get the three most important positions: the core, the legs, and the shoulders all in the right position. And it gets you the necessary strength, mainly in your traps, in your thoracic spine, in your core, to be able to actually hold that handstand. So, back to strength and skill. What I'm basically saying is if you currently cannot do a 30-second chest to wall handstand, stop everything you're doing when it comes to handstands and just focus on getting this. All of your attention and effort should be on getting strong, and I'll explain how to get to that point and what it looks like. Once you've got 30 seconds, ideally you actually get to 60 seconds. That's where I want you. I want you in a minute, nose, hips, feet to the wall, holding nice and strong and confident. Then you can move on, but at that point, at 30 seconds, you can start to work on kicking up to the wall, other different variations from there, actually learning how to balance. So let's talk about the kind of foundation of the handstand. What muscles are we mainly working? We're working the traps, the shoulders, and the core. The core is kind of like a side effect. Again, when you stand up, do you use your core? Not really, right? You're mainly using your legs, and you're locking out your joints, which makes it a lot easier to stand up. And for a prerequisite for the chest to wall handstand, I'd say you should be able to hold a 1 minute downward dog. If you can do that, you should be absolutely fine for this. So most people who are on this video, who are looking into doing chest to wall handstand, you probably got a downward dog dialed in, okay? So when we're actually in that handstand, we have to make sure we're stacking the joints. And what does it actually look like? You want to make sure that your elbows are locked out. So I always think about almost a bit of external rotation. Think about getting your shoulder to your ear in that point, so locking it out. You want to make sure your shoulders as well are up to your ears, again, so we can actually get more range of motion, so we can actually get our shoulders over our head. You want to make sure that your pelvis is tucked underneath in this position, so almost like my ribs are down to my waist, which squeezes my butt forward and engages my core. You want to make sure that your quads are tense, your knees are locked, and you're pointing your toes. That is a beautiful, perfect handstand position against the wall. But if you're looking at the chest to wall handstand, which is up on here, you want to make sure nose, hips, and feet are touching the wall. Okay? So let's talk about progressions to actually get yourself from the downward dog to a 30-second chest to wall handstand. So, number one is going up to the wall, placing yourself probably about half a leg's length away from the wall. You don't actually want to be too far away from the wall in this drill. What we're basically doing is we're going to be getting one leg up to the wall, then bringing the other leg up to the wall and holding a 45-degree handstand. If you're too far forwards, it's almost like doing an ab rollout. It's really, really tough on your core and your shoulders. You want to be at this kind of 45-degree position, and we're holding it there, squeezing the legs straight, pushing ourselves into the wall, and you want to be squeezing your shoulders almost like you're driving your feet into the wall. That's kind of like a really cool kind of feeling you want to get from there. Once you can hold that for a good 20-30 seconds quite comfortably, then you can start working on actually walking up to the wall. So when you do walk, you want to make sure you're almost like shifting your shoulders, which makes it a little bit easier to walk yourself back. You walk back a little bit and you hold there, right? So you start at the 45-degree handstand, you walk up maybe to like a 30-degree in that position, and you hold there, then you come back down to 45 degrees and you relax. Maybe next time you do 45 degrees, you take one step, maybe take another step, you hold there, then you come back down and walk forwards and you relax, okay? Then maybe you get strong enough that you can actually go 45 degrees, you walk up, you actually find that chest to wall position, then you walk forwards. Now you can do a thing called walk outs, which is basically going from a 45-degree handstand up to a chest to wall handstand, back to a 45-degree. When I first got into handstands and got going on my journey, I loved this movement. The walkout was such an incredible way to learn how to use the shoulders and to build the necessary strength that I needed. So I really liked doing this. I did 45 degrees up to the wall, held, came back down to 45 degrees, kept doing that. Once you can do that for 3 reps and you feel comfortable walking up to the wall and holding, now it's time to work on your endurance in the actual chest to wall handstand. So 45 degrees, walk up to the wall, you hold, and again, this is where you have to focus on driving the nose to the wall, pushing up and through the shoulders, hips to the wall. This is gonna feel really weird. It's like your core engages and your butt squeezes to the wall, and then you hold. You might hold that for 5-10 seconds, then you walk forwards. I would recommend having a spotter when you do this, because it's gonna be tempting to almost feel like you're gonna fall away from the wall. But when you do this, squeeze your fingers and imagine you're driving yourself into the wall, and you're not gonna come down. It'll be absolutely fine. So again, 45 degrees, walk up, hold for as long as you can, then walk forwards and come down. And now you're building this incredible strength in this range of motion from this 45 degree up to the wall. You're generating the necessary strength in your shoulders and the mobility in your upper back. So now, once you've achieved that 30-second chest to wall handstand, now we can start thinking about kicking up to the wall, learning how to balance, etc, etc. But before you do move on to the next video and start working on balance, never stop developing this skill in terms of the strength in your shoulders. Keep working your way up to 60 seconds. Once you've got 60 seconds, start working on maybe like shoulder shrugs up against the wall, right? So you maybe go, you shift your weight to one arm, maybe you shift your weight, not actually lifting off yet, but just shifting your weight. Maybe you work on doing, from a push-up position, you do a push-up all the way up to the wall, hold, you come back down and you do a push-up, right? Keep working on this strength, because the stronger you are, the easier your handstand's gonna be. So let's write this journey out on the whiteboard. So step number 1 is your downward dog, okay? Then step number 2 is gonna be your 45-degree. Step number 3 is small steps. Okay, so walking up one step at a time. Step number 4 is then walk-ups. And then step number 5 is chest to wall, 30 seconds. Okay, so we do our downward dog for about 30 seconds to a minute. You get the 45-degree handstand, you're holding it there. You take small steps, you hold, you come back down. Then you get to the point where you can walk all the way up to the wall, hold, come back down, hold, and then you keep holding against the wall until you can do your 30-second hold. Now you have my permission to move on to the next video. You can start learning how to kick up, you can start learning how to balance, and you can go from there. Guys, if you liked the video, make sure to hit like, and if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. I get back to all of the comments on the CaliUnity YouTube. And if you know someone else who's currently kicking up to the wall and you've watched this video and you're like, hey, they need to get stronger first, send them this video, right? Share the love, send them this video, and you can also help them on their handstand journey. And if you want more videos just like this, the CaliUnity YouTube is dedicated to making health education accessible to everyone, especially for those people who don't like traditional gyms but still want to get toned, mobile, and strong. So the whole channel is completely free. We're taking the lessons from our gym in Bath and putting them online to share them with the world. So best of luck with your handstand journey, and I'll see you guys in the next video.